Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about Major Hurricane Dorian, Category 3 storm, uh, with sustained winds of 115 miles per hour, pressure down to 970 millibars, moving northwest at 9 miles per hour. So yeah, this is a major hurricane, Category 3 storm, and yeah, let's just get right into this. Pull up the satellite real quick. Just go back to the tracker real quick. So here's the cone of uncertainty and certainty. So we're pretty confident the Bahamas are going to get hit as well as Florida's going to get hit. There's no question about that. The only question we have is where will it go after it hits the Bahamas? Will it move inland and go right through the central part of Florida and then go through the Carolinas and back out to sea? Will it go through Florida into the Gulf of Mexico and then put the panhandle at risk? Or will it not make a landfall at all and just basically skirt the edge of the southeast coast and then go out to sea? There are still a lot of questions to be answered. We have hurricane warnings for the northern Bahamas, and parts of Florida are now in the regular cone, but most of Florida is still under the cone of uncertainty. It's major hurricane, Category 3 storm, sustained winds of 115 miles per hour, west-northwest movement at 9 miles per hour, so a bit of a different movement now. And yeah, we do have tropical hurricane warnings, rather, for part of Bahamas and a hurricane watch down here in the lighter pink. Here's where the Hurricane Center is forecasting the storm to go. You can see not moving it too far inland and basically just moving several miles inland and then just skirting the coast. And it also shows it slows down. Models are forecasting this thing to slow down exponentially, produce a ton of rain, possibly over 2 feet in parts of Florida. Florida's really had a ton of rain over the past few months. Since June 1st, Miami's picked up 37 inches, just over that actually. And Orlando's picked up just over 21 inches, so a ton of rain there. And notice this Sunday at 2 p.m. about to make landfall as a major hurricane in the Bahamas. And then this is about Monday at 2 a.m. or so, and then 2 p.m. Tuesday. So you go through another day or a little over a day. We're still in the same general area, and then another day passes and we're still up in Florida. So this could be a potential 24, 36 plus hour event in parts of Florida. So here's the wind speed probabilities, and you can see basically maxed out for the northern Bahamas for tropical storm for sustained winds, as well as parts of Florida now in that 90+%, but a lot of Florida's covering that 70 to 80 plus chance of sustained tropical storm force winds. And look at this, even into Alabama, even into Tennessee, this is how uncertain it is. The tropical storm force winds could go out this far if it moves that far inland and in this way, or it could be just this area and moving up the coast going that way. But there's still so much uncertainty. There could be the potential for some tropical storm force winds. Yeah. Even though Michael was bad, that storm got out of here in several hours. Dorian is just going to sit in this area for potentially days. So it's not going to be a good situation. And here's the potential for 50 knot or greater winds, maxed out over the Bahamas, the northern Bahamas, sorry. And then about 70% chance on part of the east coast of Florida, and these chances continue to increase. We will be getting, in about 30 minutes, we'll get a new advisory from the Hurricane Center. They're flying through this thing all day. They've been doing that. And here's the potential for hurricane force wind gust. You can see in these purples, that's where it's maxed out, but not overland yet. There's still about a 50% chance of sustained hurricane force winds, in part of the east coast of Florida, and then about a 70% chance in some of the northern Bahamas. Here's some of the rainfall predicted by the National Hurricane Center. You could see possibly the Bahamas, the northern Bahamas could see 15 to 20 inches of rain, and even along the east coast of Florida, 6 to as much as 10 inches of rain possible, or even more. It all depends on which way this thing tracks. And we're gonna put the arrival time of tropical storm force winds. So tropical storm force winds will start to enter Florida between 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. Between 8 p.m. Sunday and 8 a.m. Monday. So preparation should be done tomorrow and early Sunday, and then it's done, and this storm will unfortunately be underway. And then put the key messages up here. Life-threatening storm surge and devastating hurricane force winds likely in portions of the northwestern Bahamas where hurricane warnings are in effect. Residents should evacuate use their hurricane plan to listen to advice given from the local officials. And then for Florida, life-threatening storm surge and devastating hurricane force winds are likely along portions of the Florida East Coast by early next week. But since Dorian is forecasted to slow down and turn northward near the coast, it's too soon to tell to determine when and where the highest surge will be, and the highest winds as well. And heavy rains are capable of producing life-threatening flash flooding, especially in the Bahamas and eastern Florida, and prolonged period of storm surge, high winds, and rainfall as possible in portions of Florida into next week. So we'll take a look at some of the computer guidance right here. Take a look at some of the intensity guidance. You can see one model brings it up to Cat 5. That's certainly a possibility, but most of the models do bring it up to Cat 4 by landfall time, and dips down to tropical storm in about 120 hours, so a couple days from now. Here's another intensity guidance one. Again, most of these bring it up to Cat 4 near Cat 5, so high-end Category 4 is possible. And then decreases in strength as it slows down over Florida. Possibly it could stay over water, which would be a worst case scenario. If it sits and stays over the water, it'll bring prolonged periods of surge, wind, and rainfall to portions of Florida. Here's the we're gonna put the GFS ensembles up here. So we're pretty certain Florida's going to get a hit from this. The question is, where does it go after? They're bringing it out to sea most likely, but some models do want to bring it up the coast into New England, or maybe into the Canadian Maritimes, is what some models show as well. So take a look at the... do one of these. We can go see if this works. So Dorian it's dark now there, so we can't see it on the visible, but I will put on the last frames of the daylight that we've had for Dorian. See a well-defined storm as we head into the nighttime, and it continues to gain strength, unfortunately, since spending a ton of time over warm waters. And it continues to intensify. That eyes become very clear over the last several hours. Worst case, this thing slows down even more and has time to strengthen more. Here's the radar loop of Dorian from start. Here's the start of it. We'll speed this up a little bit after passing, and then some more of it. Go. That should be a good one. Intensity. And here's that eye from today, just developing and is getting very well defined as we head into the night. Yeah, and there's the last images, a very big eye with this storm. So once this loads, we'll just take a look at the European model forecast. So speed down, and we will play this forecast out. Then we'll take a look at the rainfall possible as well as the possible wind speeds. Here it is, strengthens. European model does not bring this on shore at all. It basically rides the whole coast the whole time and comes up here into New England as well. So this thing is going to strengthen, but if the European model's right, it's not going to make landfall at all. It's going to dump tremendous amounts of rain, and then actually come up here into impact New England as well as the Canadian Maritimes as a strong trop storm, or even potentially a hurricane. So we will get the possible wind speeds up here. Potential wind speeds. Alright, once this loads up, we will play. Alright, so I'll play this out. So some strong winds. Basically rides the whole coast. Those were sustained winds. Now we'll take a look at the potential wind gusts from the storm. Alright, so we're gonna take this down to Florida, or the southeast actually, just to get a closer look at this. Southeast. Once this loads up, we'll take a look. Again, this is from the European model. Alright, we will play this now. Showing potential wind gusts up to 130 miles per hour, and it shows it right along the coast. So if this is right, the worst of the winds would stay offshore, but this thing could come inland and do a whole ton of damage. European model forecast winds of 130 knots, which is about 133 miles per hour. So a strong storm for sure. And it shows it actually growing in size and potentially some 100-mile-per-hour winds on the outer banks of North Carolina. So dangerous storm for sure. I'm definitely watching this one, and then it could head into the northeast as well, and do some stuff there. So again, if this thing stays offshore, it'll be putting the whole East Coast at play. So take a look at this. Shows for gusts. Again, here comes Dorian up the coast, and shows most of the wind gust missing the Cape, but the Cape getting lashed by about, let's say, 70 hurricane force wind gusts are possible there along the Cape if the Euro is right in the long range. So that's going to do it for the stream today. Prepare now if you live in the southeast, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, and South Carolina for any possible wobbles in this track. Thanks for watching, guys, and stay safe out there.